Hi, this is Kevin's Scorpio Rising Sauna Decamp.
And I'm Trevor, Virgo the Virgin Dow.
And this is VTV,
the definitive podcast for all things LGBT travel,
pop culture,
and where we share diverse perspectives from members within our community. It's poppin' lockin', Kev.
Oh, just giggling and laughing and loving. What are you up to?
We got to keep this short and sweet. Tell me, how was your Mexico resort experience?
I loved it, especially when we had a planned game outside and all these VACAYA people showed up.
We had
went
like
hard.
60, 70 participants in this amazing race style activity.
In like a level of rain that was like monsoon vibes.
Yes, which added to the fun and the chaos, honestly.
And people loved it.
Yeah, the VACAYA Challenge. I think that was the first time we've ever done something like that, and I know that it will not be the last, and I think we're doing it again in 2025.
Somebody win something too?
I think people won the opportunity to go on a date with Gabriel Goldberg.
Oh, that's great.
Not that a date with Gabriel wouldn't be a prize, but yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it was travel credit, which is super cool. Like, you go on a trip and you win money to help go on to the next trip. Like, how fun is that? Now, if you were to ever do something like the Amazing Race or the Challenge,
No,
do you
I wouldn't.
think... Oh.
No,
wow, that was fast.
Because I played also the Traders or Werewolf.
I think all these...
They're psychological to an extent.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
You don't like that.
I'm already psychological living. I can't deal with a game. I'm in the game.
Every day of your life is a game. And it's whether or not you can beat it.
Yeah, exactly. Some days my life is this big. Sometimes it's that big.
You heard that here first, y'all. Kevin is a grower, not a shower when it comes to life.
I'm going to put that like sound coming out of you.
It's probably going to be every episode. Well, one of the highlights for me in Mexico was having Jen Colbert as one of our entertainers again. And Jen is just,
hilarious.
If you think I'm a lot, baby, Jen Colbert is a superstar. So it was neat to be able to once again hang out with Jen, and Jen's been on a few trips now with VACAYA.
It's easy to talk to her every time we see her. So it was nice to have like a time allotted to just hang out and ask her about her experience on these trips.
Well, and she's got an incredible experience literally meeting her wife.
On a VACAYA Venice cruise.
Yes. So like we get into that. We talk about horoscopes. We talk about comedy. We talk about Jen's incredible career, Netflix specials, all of that. And so I think we should just get into the interview because it's a great interview. It's so funny. Hey everyone, guess what? We've got the cutest comedian extraordinaire with us today. The one and only a film, a TV, a stage star, Jen Colbert.
Ta-da!
Hi, Jen.
Hi, friends. I'm so happy to be here with you in this tropical paradise.
Not sweaty at all.
No.
Humidity?
I'm from Louisiana.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
This is winter. This is actually breezy. This is fine. We're fine.
I am still getting used to it, but that's
because you're a West Coast boy and you're used to all that nice dry heat.
Yeah, we're very moist
That's not
everywhere.
the way we do it down south. We like to moisten it up.
Are you okay? When we first met you, you were in LA, but now, since you found love,
yes.
Would you say you're now kind of back in, like,
Louisiana.
Where do you mainly spend most of your time now?
Well, we do 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off. So I call myself bi-coastal if you consider the Mississippi River a coast. And I do.
Yeah.
So I split my time between Los Angeles and Baton Rouge.
And you're originally from there, so it's still not like learning a whole new space.
No,
it's
not at
like...
all. It's. I had a house in Louisiana almost my entire life. And then about 10 years ago, I was like, you know what? I'd like to just pay one rent. And so I went out to California, exclusively and really didn't go back for a long, long time. And then I met my beautiful lady, and her kids live with their dad in Mississippi. So she wanted to have a home base where she was close to them. And I didn't want to give up my place in LA. So we bought a little house, one subdivision over from my mama.
Oh,
right. So it's right there. My mama's watching the dog and picking up our mail. It's really perfect. And we bought back and forth, LA to LA, as I like to say.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you met your lover,
Yes.
partner on a VACAYA trip. Which
I did.
Was that something that you thought was in the
cards?
The cards?
Not at all. I had brought my mom on that trip.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I was seeing someone else and she couldn't go on the trip at the last minute.
Whoa.
And so I was like, I'll just take my mom. Don't worry about it. And I took my mom and met Brooke on the trip, and that was that. I called that girl the minute I got home and was like, okay, we're not anything anymore. I'm so sorry. I met someone, this, that, and the other. And she was like, no, I get it. Totally. Because what we had was casual and whatever.
Yeah.
We lived far apart, but I was like, I love this girl, like, very deeply.
Wow.
And, we had just a connection from the second we started talking. Like,
we could all see it.
Me, me too. We just...
And
you know how
was,
lesbians do it. We were fused at the hip very immediately.
And what was the location for that trip? I can't remember.
We were in Venice, Italy.
I mean, that helps, I'm sure.
I had to go to Venice to meet a girl from Mississippi. Does that
I mean, that feels like the gay experience, Like that's...
Yeah.
We got to just put in that much work.
Yeah,
I didn't realize you were kind of seeing someone, though. I mean, talk about like...
Yeah.
The universe doing its thing. If like someone else was supposed to come with you on that trip.
That lady now has someone else as well. It all worked out.
Yeah.
It all worked out the way it was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
I feel completely like we all made the right decision.
I mean, I'm just asking just because I'm curious about horoscopes. Do you have feelings about horoscopes?
I do.
Oh.
Can you tell me a little bit about your depth of interest for this type of thing?
I mean, every woman I have dated has been a Scorpio. All of them. I think there was one Virgo, but the rest were all Scorpios. And I'm just a sweet little Aquarius. So this has been difficult for me because, Scorpios love a secret. They love a secret. And so...
Kevin's a Scorpio.
Are you? Yeah.
Checks out.
You got a little something behind the eyes you don't want anybody else to know. So I'm into it. Yeah, for sure.
So is Brooke a Scorpio then?
Brooke is a Scorpio.
Interesting.
Okay, that was just my curiosity.
And literally on that trip, I was like, when's your birthday? And she was like, November. And I was like, oh my God, another Scorpio. I know this is meant to be now.
Everything just another, that was the final little puzzle piece.
Yes.
Is there a generalization of truth to the idea of that lesbians specifically are horoscope fanatics?
I don't know. I think there are probably a lot of women that are, but you know what it is? Either I have found just in my life of talking about horoscopes with people, either people are like into it or they're not, right? Because some people really fit it. You're like, oh my God, of course you're a Cancer. You're fucking crying every 10 seconds. You know what I mean? But like other people, you're like, you're a Virgo? You're so nice. You're so open. You're so unorganized. You know what I mean? And so I have found that it either really fits or really doesn't.
Okay.
And now they've started messing with the horoscope calendar, right? They're like trying to add signs and say you're this,
a rising,
and that,
a falling, a sideways tumble.
But I did have my whole chart done.
Oh.
And it really does make sense when you look at the whole picture, right? What my rising sign is, where my moon is, all these things.
Okay.
So I think it's not just about your sun sign.
Sure.
And to even know those things means, I'm one of those crystal packing lesbians. So.
Okay, that's what I want to know, really.
Just pulls out the biggest crystal.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're like, this is actually my rose quartz dildo.
I don't necessarily believe in religion, but I do believe in rose quartz.
Insert ad here.
Exactly. Discount
Use code Jen15 for 15% off your rose
Get
quartz
your
dildo.
gemstones here.
Gemstones should
be gemstones. See, we're on
this is where we do marketing here.
Marketing meeting,
oh my
really.
gosh.
Okay, so I have a question. How many VACAYA trips have you been on so far?
Oh, sure.
Oh gosh.
In total, if you know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. 5 or 6, yes.
And besides the magical one where you met Brooke, what locations stood out to you? As far as like your favorite?
You know what? I really loved, we went on like a Middle America cruise and we ended up in Colombia.
Yes.
Which was,
I think that was the trip that we met you on.
A place I never thought I would go.
Yeah.
Right? Like
right.
Colombia. Okay. You know what I mean? It's just not like in your mind of like, where I've got to see before I die? Colombia. So
sail the Panama Canal.
Yeah. We were in Cartagena and I kept saying that line from Romancing the Stone. I kept being like, is this the bus to Cartagena? To everyone. And only like 4 people laughed. But we were with a big group of people. VACAYans, and Megan Murphy was with us, and Marty and Nate, and we had some guests with us as well. And we found the most adorable little hamburger place, and we got drinks and burgers and and it was like probably the best burger I've ever had. And then we went to like a rooftop bar, and it was just magical. I loved that city, right? The whole trip was, Panama Canal is fine. We see the ships lined up. I'm like, oh, that's where my Amazon order is right now. That's why I haven't gotten my Prime orders. But I thought that was a really beautiful destination. It really was. And of course, I mean, that Christmas market,
the market
cruise was just...
Oh my God.
I mean, it was like being in... I was like, oh my God, I found Christmas. I'm a Jew. I was never so happy with Christmas in my entire life. It was like being inside of a Hallmark Christmas movie.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
Yeah.
Like, the snowflakes were big and you could see the pattern in them. Like, I was like, this is so intense. And I loved it.
Yeah.
And we went to a little German place that Randall took us in Rudesheim and had Rudesheim coffee that they make at the table. It's this coffee and brandy, and they light it on fire.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It was amazing. And when we walked into this German bar, which had a lot of tourists in it, but when we walked in, there's a little German band in the back, and we walk in on the downbeat of Country Road, Take Me Home, but they're singing it with a German accent that I'm not going to try to replicate, but it was adorable. And now every time we hear that, that's
a forever memory.
Song. That's our song.
Yeah.
We had my mom on the trip with us, so it was me, Brooke, and my mom. So we were like a little trifecta of llamas in our onesies running around Germany, and it was lovely.
Yeah. I've loved being on those trips when your mom is there, because we were talking to Danny about it, because Danny just brought their mom on the Africa safari trip. And it's so wonderful how the moms get so like celebrated and loved on these trips.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
my mom said when we were on the plane ride home, she said, oh my God, I felt like everyone's mom. You know what I mean? Like, so many people in our community don't have a relationship with their parents, or it's estranged, or it's strained, or it's difficult, or it's awkward, because of how we live and how we are, and people have objections to things. And I'll be honest, my mom was not real thrilled about it when I first told her. But once she realized that I was still me, and that, all it meant was I was going to come home with a girl and not a boy, and calm it down, you know what I mean? She's been fine and came on all these trips. And I think, we have all these videos of my mom on the dance floor just grinding with guys in Speedos. And I've never laughed so hard in my life. Like, it was just hilarious.
And it seems like a special thing that if the initial reaction wasn't necessarily the most understanding or accepting, to then get to a place where that can be the case, it feels very hopeful.
I think it was an evolution for her, and it was it happened quickly. It wasn't like we spent years, arguing and whatever.
Right.
She was upset at first, and then I think I came out to her on coming out day in October that year. And then, at Christmas, I brought my girlfriend home, and she was fine by then, so it wasn't like it was a long time. I'm sure it felt weird to her.
You're a very scheduled person.
But, well, I just remember how
as a lesbian.
I know, I really appreciate that.
It's spending all this time with Scorpio.
Coming out day, I will come out.
Well, you know what it was? My mom and I were laying on the couch in our living room. She was on one end and I was on the other, and we were watching Oprah. And it was about coming out, because it was on National Coming Out Day that it was airing. And I said to my mom, I was like, what would you do if I came home with a woman? And she was like, right, that I started twitching.
Started to self-combust a little bit.
I wouldn't like it. And I was like, well, what would you do if I came home with a black woman? And she started doing this, and she was like, well, I mean, I don't know how I would feel about that. And then I was like, well, then you're going to have a really awkward Christmas. And she looked at me, and I was like, I'm kidding. She's white. And then I ran out of the room. So, it wasn't necessarily the nicest way to do it, but it was bizarre. You know what I mean? It was one of those moments of like, how are you going to take this? I'm just going to throw it at you and run out of the room. And that's what I did.
Now I'm self-combusting.
Because while the episode was happening, my mom kept being like, I don't understand what the big deal is. And right?
Sure.
And I was like,
you're like, you're giving me a little.
You know exactly what the big deal is. What are you talking about, right? So I ended up just sort of blurting it out to her then. And, you know,
it kind of seems like the perfect.
Look, Oprah helps. And weren't we all lesbians in college? I mean, I think every woman kissed a girl in college.
Sure.
I feel like that's a thing. That's like a rite of passage. If you didn't, you at least wanted to, and maybe you didn't act on it. But
I mean, there was a theme song about it.
Yes, you put enough. Enough wine in front of
I kissed a girl and I liked it.
Yeah, a straight girl, and she's gonna just go with it. You know, I think that because being a lesbian is fetishist to straight men.
Correct.
It isn't. There's no
hang
not
up.
the stigma around it like there is for boys.
Yes, I was just gonna.
I was arguing this with Adam Carolla on his podcast last week. He was telling me that he didn't think that a lot of men had same-sex experiences, and I said, yes, they have. They just don't talk about it. They don't mention it. It's like it never happened. They will sit here, and he kept going, I never did, and he kept protesting so much that I was like, come on, dude. Your girlfriend's never strapped one on and pegged you, and he got so red, and I was like, I think I hit a nerve. You know, like there it is. It's, you know, there's a spectrum, and there's a reason that they call it a spectrum, and you are somewhere along that. And I'm sure there are men that have never.
Yeah.
But I think there are a lot more men that have, whether it was of their own accord or not. A lot of men have had homosexual experiences.
But it isn't fetishized in the way that a woman-on-woman is. 100%.
I watch boy porn. That's what I like to watch.
Do you feel like a lot of
boy porn?
Okay. Do you feel like a lot of women or trans or non-binary people do watch a lot of gay male-on-male porn because it's not...
don't have a lot of conversations about what kind of porn other women are watching, just to be honest. But every time I've said it at a lesbian resort and been like, because the kind of porn I like is boy on boy, you can see a lot of butches in the audience look at their partner like... Does she know? Did you tell her something? You know, like, but it's true. I don't know what it is, but watching.
But what do you, because you must have like obviously you're like, see the menu of options of videos to play from.
Yes.
And you're like, I will choose this one. Why are you choosing that one over another one?
I do not enjoy watching any sort of rim jobs or ass eating. That's not for me. But I do like to watch a very big guy take a little twink and just bend him over something and just peg the shit out of him. And then I like the camera to come around and we see just like one single tear coming down the little twink's face. Like, I don't know what it is, but I like watching men peg other men. Like it is.
And you like that dynamic of like.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Brooke is crying in the corner laughing.
I don't know what that says about me, but it's...
I mean, I think it says very much like you enjoy that. And I wonder if there's a little bit when it comes to like being a female, it probably feels good seeing a man, whatever it is, get treated like how women are treated in porn.
Agreed.
And that's I would imagine it is not a great feeling watching a woman get fucking like treated like just a whole, but watching a guy get treated like how.
So agree. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's what I'm going for on the red tube.
Okay. Now I will say, look up Twinkie Boy topping a big muscle guy.
I don't think she's going to be into that.
In a very different way.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. You don't need to do that to her.
I'm not afraid. I like
to
see how it all goes down.
When you see a lot of these like big muscle guys with shorter guys, usually the shorter guy is the top.
And this is what's so funny to me, because I tell a joke in my act where, you know, I'm like, I went to the gynecologist and she asked me, what are you doing to prevent pregnancy? And I'm like, well, what I've been doing is having sex with girls. I said, and I don't risk pregnancy because my girlfriend knows when to pull out. And then I say, that's funny because you guys all thought I was the top, didn't you? I am
nice.
butch in the streets and a femme in the sheets. You know what I mean? So I agree with you. It's never how you think it's going with tops and bottoms. But
can I ask you specifically?
Yes.
So I mean, a common term is top and bottom.
Right.
I've also heard driver and passenger. Is this relative?
Pitching and catching.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
How do you say top and bottom as well in your line of being?
Yes, when I speak of such things, I think I say top and bottom. And and having just been around a bunch of lesbians, I feel like that is the terminology they were using as well. But I think it is assumed that the butch is the top, and the femme is the bottom, and that is there is nothing hotter than a femme girl with a strap on. There is just nothing hotter, and I think also it surprises me how much femme girls enjoy strapping one on and being the aggressor for a change, because they aren't that perhaps in their everyday life, or if they've been with men, right? Like a lot of us have evolved into being exclusive with women, men, right? So we had sex with boys, but
realized wasn't worth it.
So when it's powerful. It feels powerful to be the person inside of someone else, right? That's a very powerful feeling, and it gets me off for sure.
I love when...
Thanks for joining us on BTV.
Do you feel like female or trans or non-binary couples, there's a large open relationship poly demographic of that, or
there's more than I thought there was. I'll tell you that. I don't know a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
But I think that's just because, when I'm in LA, I'm not social enough to be around huge groups. I'm at home.
Yeah.
Let me just be at home.
Yeah.
I just want to go to the 4 restaurants I know, see the people I like, and just like move on with my life. And then in Louisiana, it's just not going on. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm sure there are trans and non-binary people in Louisiana. Of course there are. I feel like maybe I know 2 or 3. One of my dear friends is Abe Farrelly, who transitioned from female to male. And, I had always known him as a big butch lesbian. And so when I saw him after he had transitioned, I was like, dude, this is so right. Like, this seems so natural, right?
Yeah.
And he was telling me everything because he had just started on testosterone, and he was saying that how it was making him horny like crazy. And
that's what Jess Tom was talking about.
We were on a gay trip, and he got with boys. We were on a boy trip, and he was boys, and I was like, what? Like, and he told me that 50% of the time when that transition happens, your sexuality changes. And I was like, what? And my dear friend Jeffrey J, who's my writing partner, is also a trans man and is with a man now, and in a gay relationship,
was a lesbian before,
was a card carrying lesbian before that, and it fascinates me. So because I'm really tight with them and was really tight with them before and now, I'll grill them a little bit. But somebody that I just meet or just start talking to, I'm like, I don't want to put that on them. It's not their job to educate
not at all.
me.
Right.
But, with friends, I'm always like, all right, dude, you got to fucking tell me what's going on because I need to know. Because as butch as I am, I never felt like I would say, God, I wish I was a boy because boys were getting something I wasn't getting. But that wasn't some internal feeling in me where I felt like I was the wrong gender, right? It was just shaking my fist at the sky at how entitled you little are, and you get everything you want. And so I've had those kind of moments.
Yeah.
But I never at all, genuinely wanted my gender to change. And I've always felt like this is the kind of girl I am. I'm this girl.
Yes.
And if you can't get behind that, then you can go suck dicks. And you usually do.
Yeah.
But
God willing.
That's never, even though I take on what most would consider a more masculine role and have very masculine energy, I absolutely feel female, and that's this is just the kind of girl I am. And for a long time I had really long hair and was wearing dresses and all the things until I was like, this is too much work, this doesn't feel comfortable, my little fat thighs are chafing under this dress, I'm wearing shorts. And so it just got to be something else. So
I've had some women tell tell me discreetly that they're like, I had to take testosterone to like adjust my hormone level, like as a cisgender woman.
Right.
And then she goes, I get it.
Yeah.
Because that level of testosterone, I guess, procures a level of horniness that is like equivalent to maybe what men feel all the time.
Absolutely. And I literally was told by one of my trans male friends that he said I was so horny all the time. I had to pull my car over and just jerk off. And I was like, what? I have never had to pull the car over.
Like, I can't function. I can't even drive a car.
I cannot keep going unless I get this out, unless I have this release. And so it always, I was like, oh, wow. And it really is, though, an understanding into what it is to be male and to have that animalistic, one-track mind. I will do anything to just...
to get this out.
Get it out of me, right?
Maybe I need to take testosterone. Is that the problem?
You can just get your levels checked and see if that's something.
We were just talking about this because in these spaces, I feel like I don't operate that way and it makes it difficult to navigate it. But maybe my testosterone levels are low.
Maybe that's just you.
Maybe you're.
That's what I feel. I feel
maybe
demisexual.
You're just a tender little bear, and what you need is some hugging and some kissing and some cuddling, and just getting off isn't your thing.
Yeah,
I'm the same way. I have only had sex with less than 10 people in my entire life.
Okay, well, I can't
because
say that.
Because I'm not
sure.
Oh, I cannot do one night stands. I cannot.
So you need the needing of connection.
If I fuck you, we are gonna be together for a long time. I mean, that's what's gonna happen.
The intention is
now I'm a kissing bandit. I have kissed every woman I've ever been attracted to, but I don't sleep with them. And so
that's what we were kind of saying. They were like, "Oh, you're just a flirt then," and I was like,
I guess, but I'm not trying to be.
Like,
it just doesn't. It doesn't feel right. Like I bring feelings when I'm having sex, which a lot of women do.
Yes.
There's a
that's why
hormone that's released in our brains when we have sex that is for mating.
Like
it's a long-term release.
We want to stay together, and so now I do know women that can be
one night.
Little gigolos or whatever it is.
In some ways, I feel like that's taking in some of what men just seem to get, which is like, oh yeah, if I want to have sex, then I can have sex.
Exactly. And look, I applaud that and completely support it from an intellectual level, but my little heart can't take that. I have to love you to have sex with you. And so that
sounds like you two are a great match.
Besties.
See, it's just a different way of being. There's nothing wrong.
I don't think there's anything wrong with you. Okay. I think there is and I don't think there's anything wrong with others
Kevin
that do it the other way.
Getting blown in the forest back here.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, that didn't happen.
It does amaze me that how men can. I mean, if we're speaking in generalizations, men can really separate sex from love, and I don't think women do that.
Well,
on the whole,
my perspective is that it's there's a level of like friendship bonding that I feel like I can assess very quickly, where I'm like, I feel like we would have a great time in alignment in this way. If I like playing cards with somebody, if I like seeing horror movies with somebody, I'll see horror movies with that person, and then we can have our own lives.
Yes.
And get back to that.
Yeah.
But like, isn't it fun when you have someone you like doing something with?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. Before I got into a relationship, I was seeing 2 or 3 different people, and it was, I like doing this with this one, and this with this, and they were all in different parts of the country, and so it wasn't like I
feels
had to
very
see
poly of
anybody.
you.
Yeah, it felt very casual, but I wasn't. I had only slept with a couple of them. I wasn't being promiscuous or
you're not necessarily
everybody knew about everybody. I was very open. Like I don't want to be in a relationship. I want to. When I see you, it's cool that we go on dates.
And there's a mutual understanding that that's what it is.
Yes.
Expectations are clear.
Yes. And I really genuinely thought I would never get into another monogamous relationship. And then, you meet somebody that you're like, oh my God, you're like my other half. And now I don't even see other people. I've never been like this before.
So Kev, I just wanted to take a quick beat and touch base with Joseph, who is at one of the V dances right now. and he is talking to some of the guests about their costumes, their looks, and how the dance is going.
Hi, gays and bays. This is Joseph Love here at the P Dance. Now we're going to go talk to some guests. Now you have to tell us, what was the inspiration behind this costume?
So my spirit animal is the llama. So I'm a piñata llama. You know.
Live. Somebody bring a club so we can beat the candy out of you.
Give me a little whack.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
I wanted to think of something unique for the letter P, and I decided to go with Pooh Bear because I figured it's something that could be cute and fun, but also a little sexy.
It's cute, adorable, and sexy. Hit it nailed right on the head.
You know, gay pirate.
Faye, you look fabulous.
The first thing I thought was pineapple Polynesian, but it's a little leftover from the Sissy That Walk contest. So reuse, recycle, save the country.
Chaperone is our favorite singer of probably the last 5 or 6 years.
Now, who was the designer behind this outfit?
He was the designer. He sewed all of this.
Well, I'm mad at that. I'm going to have to get your contact information for an outfit. I live. Please tell us, where did you get the inspiration for this outfit?
Obviously from Chaperone. This is her actual costume from the music video Hot to Go.
We can tell. You look stunning, honey.
For this trip.
Okay. Well, now, when you get that all soaking wet, where are you going to put it?
In a trash bag.
All right, you guys. This is Poseidoning out. We'll see you at the next party.
I love the creativity when it comes to our guests. Like, you never know what people are going to come up with when it comes to costumes.
At least a handful of shocking beauties.
Oh, yeah. No, my mouth is always agape.
Yeah, but that's all the time.
That's true. Okay, well, let's get back into the interview with Jen. We're very lucky to have had you come on a few trips now. Tell us about some of the other things that, like, you're doing. We know that you were on Star Wars.
The Mandalorian,
Okay,
yes.
Mandalorian. How was that experience?
Amazing. Jon Favreau created that show, and he was on set the whole time. Bryce
Wow.
Dallas Howard directed the episode that I was in.
That's-
So it was just incredible. She has an amazing way of working on camera that was very actor friendly. She was really hands on because she is an actor.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the most incredible experiences. And I was in an episode with Lizzo and Jack Black.
Yeah.
So at lunch, I'm having lunch with Lizzo and Jack Black and Bryce Dallas Howard, and
That's
you know,
crazy.
it was unbelievable.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You've had a couple specials, comedy specials come
Yes.
out. Any that you would recommend to someone who is new to the Jen Colbert experience?
Well, my
like,
first one that came out is called No Flies on Me. It's available right now for free on jencober.com. You can just scroll to the bottom and
Ooh.
watch it all you like. I shot it in Vegas about a year and a half ago, and at Brad Garrett's club inside the MGM Grand.
Amazing.
Brad Garrett produced it,
Wow.
directed it, and I just found out it's being used in ads for his club all across all the properties in Vegas.
oh my gosh.
So I'm super excited about that. And the next special coming out is going to be coming out in February.
Do you feel that with the upcoming like consistent advances with AI and like writing and like content, do you think that people will crave comedy more, like stand-up experiences, because it's so like human? Like
Yes. Look, I can't be upset about AI yet. They haven't even made a sink that will turn on when my hands are in front of me. You know what I mean? Like how much steak can I put in? But I think that there is a place for something like Chat GPT
Sure.
or things like that. There are times when I was like, oh, I need a joke about saying goodbye at a charity event. And I'll put it into Chat GPT. And what they say back to me is never terribly funny, but I go, oh, that's cool. They came at it
There's
this way.
something here.
Let me
Yeah.
go that way and write the funny joke, right? So it's a
Interesting.
tool. I
Yeah,
think that
it's a
using it as a
tool.
tool is
Yeah.
certainly,
But not a threat
But
yet.
you can't. And P.S. Will Smith ain't gonna come save us from the fucking robots. We've canceled him. He is gone.
He's
out
eating
of the
spaghetti.
picture. Yes. So you're gonna have to I legend this bad boy by yourself. I am
I'm
robot.
screwed.
iRobot.
yeah, we're screwed.
Yeah.
I feel like you'll be you'll be fine.
I'll
You
be
love
fine.
AI.
I love AI.
I think, look, like I said, I think there's a place for it as a tool in what you're doing. I think there is a problem when you're saying, hey, I need a voice that sounds like Charlize Theron
Yeah.
and Melissa McCarthy, and then they put those two and come up with, that's not fair. You
Are
know,
you
and those
describing your
actresses are
voice?
getting nothing. They what?
Are you describing your voice?
I mean,
Charlize
maybe,
Theron
am I?
and Melissa McCarthy's
I
voice?
thought I was more describing my look, but So my new show came out in November. It's called The Bookie. It stars Sebastian Maniscalco, if you guys know him. He's a great comedian.
Yeah, he's really funny.
And I represent the butch women very well in this show. It's very good. On HBO Max, season 1 is there. You can watch all of that. I appear in season 2.
Okay, so we'll start with season 2.
Yes, that's exactly right. That was the right answer.
We'll start at
There
season
are
2. Get
lots-
those viewing numbers
There are lots
up.
of chances to see me on the HBO
I
Max.
need
Yeah, I'm in Hacks.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
that's
in
right.
Righteous Gemstones.
Yes. Oh my
I'm
God.
in Treme. I'm in
need
Curb
to-
Your Enthusiasm, and now The Bookie. So that's my 5th HBO Max.
They better just
show.
rename it to Gen Max. Hello. Well, then hopefully one of your specials will then find its home at HBO Max. Like,
Oh my gosh.
I agree. From your mouth to
Perfect.
God's ears, let's make it happen.
I'll find whoever that CEO is.
Yes.
I'll message them on
Write a
Grindr and make
letter,
it happen.
Please.
Well, everyone, you should go out on Twitter or whatever and be like, "Wow, the bookie is amazing. I love."
Hold on. I'll just do
Yeah,
this
cool.
real quick. I am the CEO of HBO Max, and I need to get Jen Kober's special on ASAP. And I'll just AI the.
his face, and then we'll get sued by HBO Max and ruin all of Jen's chances of ever getting that special on HBO Max.
It's fine. I'm not
It's
scared.
worth it.
Nothing can stop me.
Yes.
No. Shall we play a game?
Yeah, it's time.
Yes.
Okay. The game is called Can You Defend It?
Got it.
We're going to give you a scenario, and you have 20 seconds to try to defend it.
Okay.
The tense music come in. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, we recently saw that you fell off somehow a rolling desk chair.
Yes.
How do you defend that?
Well, I was eating these high chew candies. I don't know if you've ever had a high chew, but it's like
Oh my
a
God, I think
Starburst.
my mom loves those.
That is elevated. It is like Starburst Max.
I didn't know
And
that's
so
a thing.
I was eating it, but they're slippery. You know how Starbursts are slick, and when I popped it out of the wrapper, it popped off. And I thought that I could just reach for it. And when I reached, my body weight went with me, and the chair went one way, and I went the other. And I
Did you
was on
catch
the
it?
floor. I did get the high chew, and I did eat it, even though it had touched the floor, because of the 10-second rule.
Yeah.
So, completely defended.
I'd say, yeah, that was
Successful.
I feel like you've had that defense ready
Well,
to go.
it's what
like,
happened. Like, you know, and my friend grabbed my camera immediately and was like, "Jen, why are you on the floor?"
Yeah.
So we posted it to TikTok, and it got way more hits than my stand-up, which I'm not sure what that
Right,
means.
yeah. You're going to have someone come up to you at a show and be like, I thought you were going to fall off a chair.
Yeah. Damn it. Well, and why?
The
why do
sizzle
we-
got me.
Yeah.
That's how you need to start your special, is
steak.
get wheeled out into a chair and then just topple
and then
over.
just topple over. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
That was a great defense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Next one is Jen Colbert.
Yes.
Can you defend getting hit on by a bunch of gay men on these trips because, in your words, you look like a man from behind?
Well, I'll tell you this. One of the parties was a pride party, right? So everybody was wearing their rainbows, and the only rainbow thing I had with me was my strap-on. So I wore my strap-on in my little harness and then a cute little tank top to the party. And if I had a nickel for every one of you dirty gay boys that tried to get me to peg you, I'd own this resort. I was like, stop touching it. Don't look at my wiener. Don't think about my wiener. Stop touching it. I got Me Too'd 300 times.
A bunch of gay
on the
men.
gay
On
men,
genitals
by the
you
gay
don't
men.
have.
Yeah, it was. I had to go back to my room and change. I was like, I cannot stay like this all day. It's gonna be bad.
But
so
you know what is crazy? That is the gay male experience, though.
yes, I know.
Consent, 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 boys.
Exactly. Ask first. Don't be just touching it.
That was a great defense.
Thank you. Thank
yeah.
you. I should have been a lawyer, not a comedian.
Jen Kober. How do you defend JoJo Siwa?
Her rebrand.
Okay, look, JoJo Siwa, I feel like, got very traumatized by Abby Lee Miller, right? She was on
Sure.
Dance Moms. There was all of that sort of,
Craziness.
craziness going on. And I think once she broke out of those chains, so to say, and really got her own identity and her own sort of, thing going on, and realized that she
Like claim
was-
of sexuality.
Yeah, she claimed her lesbianism, she claimed her look, she, all of the things. And I think that once you've had an overbearing figure in your life, like that dance teacher was,
Right.
that anything you do after that is good on you.
I love.
That was perfect. Okay. I love JoJo Siwa now.
Her JoJo Siwa's studio. She has a dance studio in the valley.
Yes.
And we pass it when we're going to our favorite Mexican place.
Shut up.
And so I'm always like,
Makes so much sense.
yes, it does. For many reasons.
JoJo Siwa's dance studio would be in the valley.
Yes, it would.
Have you taken a class there?
No.
Should
I have
we
gotten
all
a clap there. No.
You heard it here first. Jen Colbert got the clap from
JoJo Siwa's dance studio
in the valley.
In the valley. No, I have not taken a dance class there. I've never done any of the famous-y classes in LA except one time.
Okay.
I was eating a burger from Simsey's, which is one of my favorite burger places. And I was walking past. Do you remember Billy Blanks?
Yeah.
He was the black guy who did the Tybo stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was doing a class, and the whole class was windows, and I'm standing outside of it eating my cheeseburger, staring at him because I kept being like, I know that guy, and there's all these like little skinny bitches like staring at me because I'm eating a giant cheeseburger. That's the closest I've come to taking anyone famous's dance class.
So should we all stand outside of JoJo Siwa's dance studio eating
eat a
hamburgers
burger?
and
I think
recreate
we
this
need
moment?
to eat hot dogs outside of JoJo Siwa's.
I think when you're in
dance
LA
studio.
next, we need to do that.
So we can use it for this
This is
episode.
a TikTok.
This
I love
thumbnail?
it. I
Yeah,
love it.
okay.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
At Jen Kober, I am on Facebook. I am on TikTok. I am on Instagram. I'm not on Snapchat because I don't give a shit what you look like as a deer. But everything else,
Fair.
I am on. I do have the Snapchat app mostly because my niece likes to do all the
that's the
little
way to
filters with me,
communicate.
make us look like pirates or make us look like drag queens or make us look like clowns or whatever it is. And but I don't ever post on Snapchat
Right.
because I don't feel like I really know how. I don't understand that one. Right?
Me
You
neither.
post
I
things
feel
and then
like
it goes away
we're
really
a little
quickly.
bit past the Snapchat. like,
age. Yeah. So
Generation.
It's just not my. That's not my medium. I love
Snapchat
the
is your
TikToks.
Nickelodeon for us.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah.
There
Oh
you
my
go.
gosh.
And that was the last word from Jen Kober.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us.
Last word. It's all. If you're looking at it.
Gosh, Jen is just so wonderful. Like, it's always nice when you can have entertainment that gets along also so well with just like the community and the environment and the guests.
The guests love her. And we do too.
Yes, we love you, Jen. Thanks so much for hanging out, Kev.
Yeah, of course. Let's
Little cheers.
give a cheers.
And if you haven't booked for our 2025 Mexico resort yet, baby, what are you waiting for?
It's going to be camp themed and it's everything you ever wanted to have in a camp experience.
And drinks are included. Hello.
And is gay,
Real guy.
LGBT.
The full experience.
If you liked this episode, there's more where that came from. Please like and subscribe.
We'll see you next episode, everyone.